a new path. I was not always the man you see today. When I was young, I made many mistakes. I lived in a small town and spent my days with the wrong people. I did not work, and I did not care about my future. My father often told me to change, but I did not listen. One day, I saw a girl in a cafe. She was different from anyone I knew. She was kind, smart, and came from a rich family. Her name was Emily. From the moment I saw her, I knew I wanted to change, but I was nothing compared to her. That night, I could not sleep. I thought about my life and my choices. I felt small and lost. If I wanted a better future, I had to become a better man. I had to work, to grow, and to prove that I was worth something. The next morning I woke up early. I walked around town looking for work. Many people knew me as a troublemaker, and they did not trust me. But I did not give up. I knocked on every door, asking for a chance. At last, an old shop owner gave me a job. "Work hard, and you will earn respect," he said. I promised to do my best. For the first time in my life, I felt hope. The first days at work were hard. I was not used to waking up early. My hands hurt from lifting heavy boxes. My back ached from standing all day. But I did not stop. Every morning I reminded myself why I was doing this. I wanted to change. I wanted to be better. The old shop owner watched me closely. At first he did not trust me. He thought I would quit after a few days, but as time passed, he saw my effort. One evening, as I was cleaning the floor, he patted my shoulder. "You're doing well, son," he said. His words gave me strength. One day, as I was carrying a box outside, I saw Emily again. She was walking down the street with her friends. She did not see me, but I watched her from a distance. She looked happy, laughing and talking. I wanted to be someone who could stand beside her, but I knew I had a long way to go. That night, I sat alone in my small room. I thought about my past and my future. The old me would have given up, but now I had a goal. I needed to learn, to grow, and to become someone worthy of love and respect. The next morning, I asked the shop owner if I could do more. "I want to learn everything," I said. He smiled and nodded. From that day on, he taught me not just about work, but about life. Honesty, patience, and hard work, he said, these are the keys to a good life. I listened carefully. I worked harder than before. Slowly, I felt myself changing. The people in town started to see me differently. I was no longer just a troublemaker. I was becoming a man. Months passed, and I became stronger. My hands were no longer soft. They were rough from work. I learned how to fix things, how to talk to customers, and how to manage money. The shop owner trusted me more. He even let me run the shop when he was away. One evening, as I was closing the shop, Emily walked in. My heart raced. She looked at me with surprise. "You work here?" she asked. I nodded, feeling nervous. She smiled. "That's good," she said. "You look different." Her words stayed with me all night. After that, she started visiting the shop often. Sometimes she bought small things. Sometimes she just said hello. Each time I felt happier. I wanted to tell her how I felt, but I was still afraid. I was not ready. One day the shop owner sat beside me. "You like that girl, don't you?" he asked. I nodded shyly. He laughed. "Then be patient. A good man proves himself with actions, not just words." His advice made sense. I decided to work even harder. I saved every coin I earned. I wanted to build a future. I wanted to show Emily and the world that I had changed. Every morning I woke up with new energy. I was no longer the boy who wasted his days. I was a man with a purpose. But life is never easy. Just when things were going well, something happened that tested everything I had learned. One morning I arrived at the shop and found the owner looking worried. "We have a problem," he said. "The shop is not making enough money. I might have to close it." My heart sank. This shop was my new life. I could not let it go. I worked harder than ever. I cleaned the shop, arranged the goods, and welcomed every customer with a smile. I even found new ways to sell things. Slowly, business improved. The owner was happy. "You saved my shop," he told me. His words filled me with pride. One evening, Emily came again. This time, she stayed longer. We talked about life, dreams, and the future. I told her about my past, about my mistakes. She listened carefully. Then she said, "You have changed. I can see it." Her words gave me hope. I wanted to do more. I wanted to prove to myself that I could be better. I started learning about business. I asked the owner many questions. He taught me everything he knew. I wrote down ideas and made plans. One day the owner called me. "I am getting old," he said. "I need someone to take care of this shop. Would you like to buy it?" His words shocked me. Me? A shop owner? It felt like a dream. But I had saved money. I had worked hard. Maybe I was ready. That night I sat alone, thinking, this was my chance. But it was also a big risk. If I failed, I would lose everything. I had to make a decision. I spent the whole night thinking about the offer. Owning a shop was a big responsibility, but deep inside, I knew this was my chance to build a future. The next morning, I told the owner, "Yes, I will buy the shop." He smiled and shook my hand. "It is yours now," he said. I worked harder than ever before. I changed the shop, added new products, and made it a place where people loved to come. Customers increased, and business grew. Every day, I felt proud of what I had built. I was no longer the lost boy who had made bad choices. Emily visited often. She saw my progress and smiled. One evening, I gathered my courage and told her, "I want to be with you. I have changed. I am ready." She looked into my eyes and said, "I believe in you." My heart filled with happiness. We spent more time together. We walked in the park, shared dreams, and talked about the future. I felt something I had never felt before. Peace. The pain of my past was still there, but it no longer controlled me. I had found a new path. One day, I realized something. I had not only won Emily's heart, but I had also won my own respect. I was proud of the man I had become, but life had one more test for me, and I did not see it coming. One evening, as I closed the shop, a man stood outside. It was my father. His hair was grey, and his face looked tired. I had not seen him in years. He looked at me and said, "You have done well, my son." I felt many emotions at once, anger, sadness, and surprise. He had never praised me before. I did not know what to say. He continued, "I was wrong. I see that now. I should have treated you better." His voice was soft, almost broken. For a moment I wanted to shout at him. I wanted to ask why he had hurt me so much. But I took a deep breath and said, "I worked hard to become the man I am today. I did it without you." My voice was calm, but my heart was racing. He nodded slowly. "I understand," he said. "I cannot change the past, but I am proud of you." Then he turned to leave. A part of me wanted to stop him, but another part knew that I had already moved on. As I watched him walk away, I felt something lift from my heart. I had found my own way in life. I had love, success, and peace. I was no longer a lost boy seeking his father's approval. I was a man standing on my own.